But by and large, Akshara has been successful because we've cultivated relationships at all levels of government. Right? So, at the Gram Panchayat level onwards, we have, when I say relationships, they know who we are and we know who they are. So it doesn't mean more than that.
Yeah.
When we meet them, it's not a stranger conversation.
Correct. And now my question is the scheme that you just spoke about, Ganita Kalika Andolana. Why did you think math is so important?
Well, first of all, there are lots and lots of NGOs who work in the literacy space, reading, libraries, and so on and so forth. In fact, we also did at Akshara. But there's hardly anyone in the numeracy space. Right? Most people are scared of math. Fair statement. And I think they're scared because it was not taught to them the right way. You picked up a 6-year-old and you threw abstract stuff at that child. 7 ones are 7. So what is this 7 times 1? What is this concept? These are all abstractions. Whereas the way math need to be taught is taking the child from the concrete to the abstract. So you have to have, some concrete manipulatives that the child can recognize and associate with. A simple thing could be a string with beads on it. Right? You'll be surprised that with a simple string with, say, 25 beads, I can teach a child addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Right? And in the manner that the child understands the concept, not memorize the multiplication tables. Right? So we are hoping that with our effort, over a period of time, an entire generation of children will be able to address mathematics with conceptual clarity rather than, memorizing abstractions. So that the need to give a child that ability was important to us. And by the way, you need not be an engineer to do this. A mason, if you see, when masons lay stones, there is a pattern and a symmetry. That's mathematical thinking in a way. The maid who does the rangoli in your house, if you notice, she will put dots first and then draw the lines. So there is an innate mathematical ability in all of us. It's just that the way we were taught math has kind of killed that, that conceptual things that you need to have. And third, if you look at it, almost all jobs now, from now on, will require analytical thinking, which math gives you. So for all these reasons, we said, let's focus on this.
Wow. And when it comes to math per se, any story from any kids who came to you or any feedback that you got from schools saying how much children are understanding or loving the concept?
So I'll tell you, one of the things as part of our Ganit Kalika Andolan model is something that we do called a Gram Panchayat math contest. Okay, so at a Gram Panchayat level, if you can imagine on a given day, a Gram Panchayat will have maybe 5-6 schools, right? On a given day, children from 4th, 5th, and 6th grades come into one of the schools. And if you can imagine the schoolyard where there are 3 rows of children sitting, and we administer a test. So a 4th grader will be tested for what she should have learned in 3rd grade, previous year, 5th grader for 4th grade, 6th grader for 5th grade, right? So in the first hour, the children write a paper pencil test. In the second hour, we have volunteers on the ground who correct the papers by means of an answer key that is provided to them. And in the third hour, the prizes are announced and the general performance of the children in the GP contest is talked about. Right? All this is done in 3 hours. Now, interesting stories. So, a young lad who used to tend sheep could not even think of going to school. Very poor. But a teacher persisted and got him into school. And this is a small village. I think it was in Gadal district. And that child was so bright, he got 20 out of 20. Right? And when the prizes were announced, both he and the teacher were crying. So, so I'm saying these are the kind of things that you get to see. Young girl, 2 years in a row, she got the prizes, topping it 20 out of 20. So there is so much hidden wealth, if you can call it that, in our small communities around the state, around the country, that they don't get a chance unless and until they get an opportunity to shine. It'll be wasted out there. Now, are we doing enough? We are doing what we can, but I think there's so much more to be done to give these guys the visibility they need. But it's all out there. I mean, young children can learn math faster if taught well. We are the ones who mess it up for them.
True. The most logical subject, and sometimes it gets so confusing. Like you said, I think from concrete to abstract makes complete sense. Yeah. And you have been here for the last 2 decades almost, Ashok. Any moment of I wouldn't call it pride, but satisfaction with what you are in and what you are doing as an impact with your entire team? What are some of those moments that you'll always treasure to say you're on the right path?
So, it's an interesting thing, and especially today when communications are so easy with WhatsApp groups and all that, there's stories that come to you every day, right? But if I were to filter it and say, I think with respect to Ganit Kalika Andolan, number one, I think, is we managed to get a very good kit we designed this at Akshara, a very good kit that every school now has. This is the concrete part of the concrete to abstract, right? And we are very, thrilled about it. And we are now we finished also doing, earlier we used to do it for 1st to 5th grade. Now we are doing 6th, 7th and 8th as well. So up to 8th grade, children will have access to, because children who are in 8th and 7th and all, they still have a handicap because in the past they haven't been taught well. So, they also need, a helping hand. I think the second one would be the fact that we did this Gram Panchayat contest. Last year in Karnataka alone, we did, I think it was 2,600 Gram Panchayat contests. And the beauty of it is it was fully funded by the local communities, not by Akshara. So this whole thing, including prize money, everything, comes from the local communities. They raise the money and they spend the money locally. None of that goes outside of that community. So if you can think of about 15,000 rupees per, so that's a lot of money that the community. So it shows that the communities are also invested in their kids in a significant way, right? They just need to know how to do it. If you show them the way, they'll be happy to do it, right? So these are the kinds of things And remember, it goes back to our original principles that it has to work at scale, right? So, and 2,600 gram panchayats is 1 out of 2 gram panchayats in the state. Probably this or the next year, we will be hitting all of them. We managed to involve more than 50,000 young volunteers who give 2 to 3 hours in a month to the school where they study, right? So if you take 50,000 and 3 hours, that's 150,000 person hours, in a month. That's a lot of, it's like having an additional 30 or 40 employees full-time, more than 300 or 400 employees full-time. So these are the kind, like I said, earlier I said, we got to engage all stakeholders. The youth is a significant part of that mix.